How are you?
I'm all right. I mean, I am how I am, I guess. It's been a lot. I haven't seen you in a long time, so it's been a
Yeah.
while.
Well, it doesn't sound like you're traveling at all. Obviously you're kind of staying home and doing what you
Yeah.
have to do.
Yeah, so my husband's immunocompromised because of the liver transplant, so we can't really be in groups of people. And so
Mm.
we're not even venturing out yet outside of the house other than going to the hospital. So it's been a lot. 6.5 weeks I've no haven't really left the house. So
Wow.
yeah.
How much longer is that duration
So
for?
for the rest of his life, he'll have compromise with his immune system, but the first 3 months are the most critical. That's when
Okay.
the medicines tries to balance out a little bit. So we have a couple more weeks, and I think that we'll at least be able to, like, we can go to dinner. They said we can, but we just have to go
Mm.
at different times when it's not busy and then wear a mask in. And I'm not the mask kind of girl, but bless you.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Bless you.
I
So
mean, it's not worth it at that point to go to dinner. Like for
yeah.
me, the convenience, the cost, it's like why am I trying to force something that is going to be so
Yeah.
much trouble?
Yeah, and the stress of it and the paranoia. I mean, I'm definitely paranoid because I don't want him to get sick,
Yep.
but he's gonna get sick. That's life. We get sick. But his liver is not fully grown yet. It takes 2 months for his liver to grow back.
Grow
So,
back.
isn't
That's
that
just
amazing?
such a crazy thought to think
Yeah,
of.
so he
Like you
has
can
60 per
literally regrow your body part.
yeah, so he has 60% of our friend's liver. Our friend gave him his liver, and he
Wow.
was a living donor. And so his should be grown back by the end of 2 months, and Jason should be full grown by the end of 2 months.
That's so crazy. So how much of it did they take? Like half a
60
piece?
60% from the donor.
60. Okay.
So he literally had a 40% liver
Yeah.
for the last month and a half.
Wow. And for him, does he have to also do what you guys are doing and not go
Yeah,
out and do that sort of thing? No, because it's his own
totally
liver,
different.
it's just going to regenerate.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Dude, why don't more people donate their livers? I'm like,
I mean,
wait, that seemed
I mean, and they can't because a lot of people just don't have a good enough one, right? And there's that. So we had 10 people actually sign up and try to get, to see if they could be a donor, but one was a perfect match.
that's so cool. Wow. And this has been, even though it's not your physical personal journey, this has been your journey as well. Just
Ooh.
navigating this, being the care provider, trying to figure out all the things, do all the things.
Yeah, for sure. It's been something I've been like that a lot there, even with my parents, I always went to take care of them when they needed. I remember one day when they called and they were sick and I said, "What's wrong?" And here they had COVID. And so that was like 6 o'clock on a Friday night. By 6 a.m. I was on a flight to Myrtle Beach to walk into COVID territory knowing they were sick. But I knew that if I didn't go, I don't know what could happen. My mom ended up in the hospital for 5 days. So if I hadn't gone, she would have never lived through that. So
Oh,
so that's just who I am. I'm that person who'll fight in the middle of whatever, and I don't care.
yeah, girl, you're
But
like an angel,
uh,
you're like
uh,
out there
I
giving care like Florence Nightingale.
mean, I guess I don't really look at it that way, but I don't mind being called that. That's a nice thing.
Yeah,
I've
Florence
been called a
Nightingale is
lot. I've been
great.
definitely called a lot worse names than an angel. Yeah.
You are like one of the kindest, most
Yeah.
compassionate, caring people that I know. You treat the people who work for you better than any boss. So you got to give yourself some credit. You're a pretty awesome human being.
I know, but I am tired. I am getting tired. It's a lot.
You got to pour into yourself. I mean, that's
No.
priority number one, so you can be the best version of yourself for everybody else.
Yeah. I
Are you
haven't
doing
been very
that at
best too
all?
good.
No.
No, not at all. No, in fact today I'm jonesing for a Starbucks so bad because they didn't have my drink, and so I'm like, and now I'm halfway into the day with hardly any caffeine. So I'm like, oh my goodness, how am I going to get through this?
Well, they do have DoorDash. That does
Yeah, I know,
exist.
but they don't have my drink, so they're out of the drink.
Uh,
There's that.
what are you trying to pumpkin spice or something?
No, it's the same thing I always get, a stinking mango dragon fruit refresher. It's something
Oh,
simple.
gotcha.
They always run out of it because it's so good. So
Nice. And how have you been able to just so you can let our listeners know that being a full-time caretaker is not your full-time job.
no.
Explain to everyone what it is you do for a career.
So I actually own a real estate brokerage here in Pittsburgh. We have about 205 agents as we speak. And
205. That's a lot.
yeah, it's a lot. But I have to tell you, this was perfectly timed because for the last 8 years, we've had some, staff issues. And if it had been 4 years ago or 3 years ago, we wouldn't be sitting where we are today. Our foundation is really good. We're lean. We don't have a lot of staff, but we have good staff that understand systems and procedures. And then that makes this a opportunity for me to be able to work away from home. I mean, away from the office for 6 weeks,
Yeah,
and we're still running. Now, I think we'll have some struggles growing if I'm not there soon, but we will maintain where we're at, which is huge because a lot of companies, 6 weeks without the owner could be devastating.
sure.
So I think we're in a great place for this to happen. I mean, everything was really perfectly timed. We hadn't anticipated liver transplant. He had diabetes really bad. He hasn't smoked, drink, or do drugs, none of the above, never has. And he had diabetes for about 15 years, but it just literally was killing his liver. And
Oh,
so about in September, he was feeling bad like in August and July, and we didn't figure it out. And when COVID hit, he had filled up with some fluid, and we went to the ER and they took the fluid out, and he ended up being in the hospital for a few days, and they pumped him full of medicine. So his body filled up with all this fluid. That happened in COVID. 4 years later, it never happened again. Well, here we didn't know, but he was filling up again. So
um,
we went back to the liver doctor, and they're like, there's some fluid there, but it's not enough for us to take out. Next week we go back and he had enough. So they started taking out between 15 and 20 pounds of fluid out of his stomach every week. And
that
then
is a lot of fluid.
I know the 20-pound one, I couldn't even believe it. Like it
So
was,
was he drinking 20 pounds of fluid,
yeah,
or that's just his body getting
yeah,
rid
the
of?
liver just wasn't working right. And so it was
Wow.
just filling up. So I mean, literally his stomach was protruding like so far.
Yeah.
And he was So we do that on Friday. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, he would do good. Tuesday, he'd start feeling bad. Wednesday, Thursday, he's filling up so bad that he couldn't breathe. So just walking up the stairs would affect his breathing. And he was struggling and coughing. Every time he ate, it would go here, but there was so much fluid that he would choke and throw up. This
Yeah.
happened for 18 weeks straight.
Wow.
And then, but the beginning of it, the doctor recognized and said, if you have a living donor, we can do this now instead of waiting 5 to 10 years when you're so sick that you're going to be so sick that you may not be able to survive. But they also told us that he only had 2 years if we stayed like this.
Yeah, that seems like a no-brainer. Like find a donor ASAP.
Yeah. Yeah. So we did, and we didn't even have to put it on social media. We just reached out to some of our family and friends, and everybody's like, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. Nobody even knew what that meant, but they still did it anyway.
Yeah.
So that's been an incredible,
Mm.
beautiful thing to see
Mhm.
someone give up part of their body. And he was so excited the day of surgery. I was like, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you so happy? Because I'm leaving a legacy for my son so he can know the kind of man that I am today. And I was like, damn, I mean, how can you, like, we owe him a lot.
That and that right there, that's where with the gratitude, you just know, like you were talking about divine timing, God
Yeah.
being on your side, like the stars aligning, like what a beautiful way to do something like that. And I'm inspired because I'm like, dude, I have like a rare blood type. I'm super healthy. If I could help someone with the liver, I
Yeah.
should do that.
I mean, the kidney's the easy one because it's, because your kidneys, the surgery's easier, the time frame's easier. But yeah, it's wild. But once you hit 55, they don't really want anyone over 55, and I'm going to be 57, so I was right on the cusp. If I was the only one and I matched, then I would have did it because I would have saved his life. But we had someone else, so then I didn't have to be in that space, but I would have. One of
Yeah.
our agents, ironically, we have 200 people, right? One of our agents had a liver transplant in 2018, and her husband was the donor. And so
Wow.
imagine they were both recovering at the same time. Like I'm struggling here with being the caregiver. I don't know how I would have been sick and doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, phew, it's a lot.
Wow. Wow, it's a lot and it's been a lot of years, but I'm seeing like a light at the end of the tunnel for you
Yeah,
guys. Like if you
for
can get through,
sure.
I get what, like the next 6 weeks, then you
Yeah.
start to breathe a little
Yep.
easier and yeah, that'll be
Yeah, I think
great.
the next 6 weeks are important. I should hope to go back to work before then. But to be honest with you, I am extremely capable of working from home. I could run my entire company from my house. Having offices is great. They're beautiful and all that nice stuff, but it's expensive. And most of the time, out of the 200 people, we may see 10 in and out of any office at any given
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So it's just, I'm really good at this working at home. Now, what I'm not good at is the dogs barking, getting all the stuff I have to do for the day. Don't forget to cook. And I'm like, I'm not that person. And all of a sudden I'm doing all these jobs that I never did before. But my mom is living with us since my dad passed. So I had that too. Like my dad passed away like 16, 15 months ago. And he was my buddy, and so I dealt with that. And my mom, she got like torn from her life because they live 600 miles away. And the landlord said, we'll give you 30 days to get out and we'll break your lease for you. But we had 30 days to
Wow.
figure out what to do. And she didn't get to take any of her stuff, all but her clothes and a couple little things. So she had to leave her whole life. And so she lives here. But I'm thankful because she's here and she helps. Like if I need to run to the store, I'm like, Mom, can you just sit on the same floor as him? I don't need you to do anything. But in this process, Angie, he had he has something called orthostatic hypotension, where when
Okay.
he's laying down sleeping, his blood pressure shoots up really high. When he sits up, it gets lower, and when he stands, it dropped. It was down to like 55 over 35 one night. You
Wow.
can't even live with a blood pressure like that. So I called the ambulance and they came and brought him down the stairs and I took him back to the hospital. So we were in the hospital for 7 days for the transplant, out for 2 weeks, back in for 8 because of that. We can't get, even last night, the blood pressure was shooting up. He had this pain in his chest, which of course, the first thing you go is, oh my God, your heart rate.
Yeah.
But his blood pressure was up to 191 over 10 something. And then when he stood up, it went up to like 138 over normal, over 80. So we're having this issue that's causing him pain, and his back pain is unbelievable how much back pain he has. So it doesn't, like, these are things you don't expect. The liver transplant, you don't expect to be passing out. So he passed out 4 times at home. I caught him in the bathroom and actually went down with him so that he didn't fall. And then I sat him against the toilet. And then the other time he was standing and I was trying to help him and he went backwards and he was just like completely, I couldn't talk to him. Like, I'm like, Jason, talk to me. And I was worried he was going to have a stroke. And then so he got back up, and then a few minutes later, he's like, I have no idea where I'm at. And then I got him to the bathroom. Of course, he had to go to the bathroom 20 times that night. So I had to keep helping him back and forth to the
Mm.
bathroom. He literally hit his face off the mirror and then he fell
Oh,
down. So this is all happening. And I'm like, wait a minute. They didn't tell us about this. This is not liver transplant stuff, right? This is
yeah.
totally unbelievable because his body's reacting to a foreign object in him.
Yeah. And it doesn't know how to process it or what to do with it.
No. So
Wow.
I have learned a lot. I
Yeah.
mean, I've never imagined being in my mid 50s and this being what's going on. But the hope is that this will give him another 15, 20 years, where we would have
Exactly.
had two.
Exactly. And
Yep.
quality of life,
Oh,
because
so
he's
much
been
better.
suffering for so long,
Yeah.
if we can
It's
get
been
through this and he
years.
can heal, you guys could actually have a healthy, happy next 50 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Um,
I don't think I'm going to live that long. That's too far. That's too
you never
long.
know, dude. You should
No,
always be prepared for that. Yes.
no, I
That's why
don't
I'm
know.
always
I didn't.
on you about exercise. Like we got to get your strength training in, your exercise. You got to take care of you, girl. You got
Listen,
to last for everyone else.
they told him to work out before surgery. They should have told me. I didn't know I'd be picking him up off the ground and like holding him down while he's falling. Like they didn't tell me all that. So I was, geez, I don't know. It's wild. Life is such a roller coaster all the time.
It
And
is. And it's like it's work, it's personal, it's family. It's like there's never is everything like smooth everywhere. Like there's always something that's not quite like where we need it or want it to be that's consuming a lot of our time is what I've experienced.
no, nothing.
Yeah.
So how is everything over there on your coast?
Sunny, beautiful, like we're
Yeah.
hitting spring, almost summer. It was super strange. I went out to walk my dogs because I'm on 75 hard. I'm on, ooh, gosh, day like 60 something. I'm like
Oh, you're
near the
getting
end
there.
again.
Good.
Yeah. And so, for my outdoor workouts, I always put on my rucking vest and I go walk with my dogs in the beach or forest. But yesterday it was so strange. It was like nobody was in the forest and it was 9 a.m. on in the middle of the week. And it's very unusual. Usually we're very populated this time of year. So I'm starting to go, what's going on in the world? It feels like it's not just a me thing, California thing, elevate thing. It just feels like the world is kind of like freezing right now. And I don't know why. And I don't know when it's going to stop. I don't know if it's because of graduations and everybody's
Yeah.
distracted. It just feels funky right now.
I'm with you, I feel the same, it's wild, and
Yeah.
there's so much going on, like, all the
Yeah.
time. Even this morning, I just look at this morning alone and the dog's going crazy, the plumber's coming because the toilet won't work. Right in the middle of the plumber coming, my mom's like, "I gotta go to the bathroom." I'm like, "Oh my god," there's like, "Ah, I gotta get on a podcast." It's just an hour's
Yep.
worth of chaos.
But then the question is, would we know what to do with ourselves if we didn't have 50,000 things going on? Like, would we
I don't
even
know.
know how to just like be with none of it? I don't know.
Yeah, we're so used to it now, and when my dad passed, I filled myself up with so much to do. I was
Yeah.
taking class after class and trainings and coaching and then creating all this stuff. Like I literally had 0 time in a day. I didn't even know what I was doing, but I knew that that was a good outlet for me to be creative
Mhm.
and use that creativity while I'm grieving. And man, I did a lot of stuff in that period. So,
Yeah, that is the one thing I've admired about you so much is your creativity level, like your ability to think. I mean, we were in one entrepreneur group for one weekend. You were shown one tool and you literally wrote a book
I
during
did.
that weekend. I'm like, when did you have time to write a book? Like we're all in this thing together. Like that was astounding to me that
Yeah.
you just roll like that. It's so
I
impressive.
do. Thank you, and I really think it's an incredible trait that I have. But
It
for
is.
some people, they look at me and they're like, "You're out of your mind. Like, what are you doing? You talk too fast. You do things too fast." So when you have 200 people that aren't as fast, you have to slow down sometimes. And so sometimes I'll be in a meeting and I'll start to slow as I am right now, and I'll slow the voice because I look at the audience and realize they don't know what the heck I just said. You know. Yeah, so
It's true. I'm a fast speaker too, but I can blame it on California. You know, we all kind of talk quick out here, but for where you are, you probably stand out. Out here,
oh
it's just
my.
kind of
Yeah,
normal.
they're wondering all the time what is that exactly wrong with me, but
Which again, it's astounding, right? Like you have that much energy with the diet and exercise that you have, and you know, that's
which is
it is what it
terrible.
is. But the amount of energy that you have when you're taking care of your personal self is not your highest priority, it's amazing.
You think? And I'm gonna be 57 in 2 weeks. Yeah,
Amazing.
it's a
Amazing, your
lot.
energy level and what you're able to do in your production and all that kind of stuff.
It's because I love doing it so much that you know what I mean? I'm so passionate about it, and there's days there that people try to break you. There's that, and even through this, you know, someone said something to me a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, can you maybe just give me a couple weeks to get through this? Like, do you have to do this right now?
Yeah.
I need a break too. But it's crazy. Like they forget quickly. Like, okay, the transplant was 6 weeks ago. You should be ready. You should be done.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, well, it's just wild how I don't know. I think everything is crazy right now.
It
And
feels
I
crazy, and I don't know why. I'm like, "There's nothing going on. Why is everything crazy right now?
unless we're
Like,
about
let's
to get another
enjoy."
COVID or something. I don't know.
Don't say that.
Listen, I
I
have
think
to
we
tell
know
you
how to
though,
navigate it better this time, but still, let's not even.
God, but I
Mm.
have to tell you, I enjoyed that time. Those 3 months, it was so different. Like, I was like, I could get so much work done, and there's nobody bothering me. But
Well, it
yeah,
was the beginning of, and I will say, I think this is the biggest plus that came out of it is remote working, like
yeah,
cutting down that commute, not having everybody in the office, realizing we don't need that huge office, like
yeah,
how to pivot, how to, keep it moving without leaving your house. Like I feel like it really changed the world. And I would never want it to be permanently like that forever, but I think we got some good stuff out of it that we're
I
able
do
to
too.
integrate into our lives now and
Yeah,
not go back to the way it was, but not also stay in that spot 100% either. There's now a nice balance, I believe.
I agree. I do think it did help a lot, and I wish I would have had stock in Zoom back then because there's
Right?
some dang, it
Yeah,
has
who
the
would
whole
have
idea.
known? Who would have predicted? I hated Zooms. Like I wouldn't even get on. I had dark lights. I was like in the shadows. I was not in a good place at the beginning of that pandemic. Like it was and luckily for myself and because of the internet and staying at home, I was able to find online mentors and people and kind of learn how to, be the new me as it would. Because
Yeah,
for me, my kids moved out, like I became like an empty nester and was running, healthcare business in California all at the same time. So it was a lot. It was a lot to
yeah, it's a
navigate.
I
But
remember there was an Apex event that raised, I think it was in May or June of 2020, that he had to cancel, they couldn't do it. And he's like, "I don't know what to do. They have all these people were coming," and he just couldn't do it. And
yeah.
so that's kind of really when I started getting back into wanting to be in mastermind groups and stuff like that. I do love that, and I miss it a lot.
Do you?
Yeah. Oh,
Are you
sorry.
are you in any online masterminds, or have you
Yeah, I'm on
kind
a
of
couple, it's for sure. I'm in this one, it's called the Sims Distillery. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but boy, I
mm-mm,
like them. It's really cool. A lot of entrepreneurs, not many, like they keep it capped at, they're not like growing to 1,000 people or anything, but each week we find out something new. And last week or 2 weeks ago, I got to meet this really intelligent guy who knows a ton about Google. He used to work for Google. And
mm,
he was showing us about, online and how to find your knowledge panel, which I had no idea what that even meant. And end result is, like, I signed up for his coaching because I loved what he was doing. And I thought, if I can be in a room while I get in the coaching, there's only like 4 or 5 people and me and this super smart guy. And I'm like, oh, I love this. So yeah, I love training. I can do it all day long, but I still have to work somewhere in the middle of it. So
right,
I
right,
haven't really
and the
figured.
working is my North Star. Like, all the other stuff is nice, but really,
Yeah.
I for me, it's work. And because of the pandemic and being all in on all those masterminds and all the different things, well, since you left, the one we were in together, I left right after that. I've kind of like not been a whole lot a part of a lot of those things.
Mm,
Just because there's only so many hours in the day, right? Like,
yeah.
and you're trying to navigate. And the one thing I learned in all my journeys of entrepreneurship, and there's so much valuable information, made me such a better manager, owner, leader, that sort of thing. But my industry is very unique. And so a lot of the advice we get is not, even though we're told it is, it's not for every industry. So if I
No.
like go down every rabbit hole of
Yeah.
ideas and suggestions and people know best, and then I'm finding more and more like that doesn't fit my industry. And I'm not trying to be an arrogant asshole, and I'm totally open to anything that's going to help in my business, but there is no one size fit all. And just because it works
No.
super great over here, there is no guarantee it's going to work super great over here.
Yeah.
In fact, usually there's not. And like what you and I've seen, unfortunately, is a lot of people got burned because they're putting all their stock into everything they're being taught and told,
Everything.
not
Yeah.
realizing it wasn't a greatest good for their business.
I agree with you. And I think one idea of masterminding from the beginning, from even back in the books like Think and Grow Rich, was that it was a few people that
Mhm.
masterminded. And every day they would talk and they would, go over, this is how we should do this, or they would help each other a little differently. We mastermind turned into this massive 100, 200, 300, 500 people in a room. So they kind of lost the idea, like, you're really not masterminding. They're just getting taught, right? You're getting taught. I joined one a couple years ago and I really loved it. It was really good, but after about 6, 8 months of it, I was like, it's the same stuff over and over and over and over and over again. So,
Mhm.
and I know it. I don't give myself enough credit for all that I know. I know a lot, but sometimes I think I forgot more than I know. Because when you're coming to your late set 50s, you start to like it, you can't remember all the stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
trying to
but I
figure out
think
how.
it's also just a timing thing, right? Like, you could hear something in your 40s and it's just not applicable. And then you
Yeah.
rehear it in your 50s, you're like, wait a minute, now all of a sudden that's applicable. That
Yeah.
actually works now. So I
Yeah.
don't know that it has anything to do with your age. I really
You
just
don't,
think
I
it
mean,
has to
I
do with
really
like
think I
information
forget.
where you're at that point in your life.
Yeah, I hope you're right, but I think that there's been so much stuff in my head that every day I could go down, like you said, down a rabbit hole of something.
Yeah.
But when I get focused, like I'm hard, it's hard to stop when focused on something. But as soon as there's like, oh, let's try this course or that, and but I'm settling down. Grief played a big role in that. I have to tell you,
Mhm.
even worse than ever. I just was trying not to grieve.
Yeah. Did you ever give yourself that space to do that? Or are you still preventing the process?
Yeah, pretty much preventing it. I honestly, I met a guy at our event. I don't remember if you remember Zach Hughes. Do you remember him?
Hmm.
He was so he was a Navy SEAL, and he called me the day after my dad died and left me this incredible message about how in the military that they don't grieve, they honor. That was day after. So this message was so beautiful. I listened to it over and over again, and I thought, I don't think my dad will really want me to be crying every day and not living. but also he knows that I'm strong and I can get through a lot. So if I'm strong and can get through a lot, if I sit here and cry every day, then everything that I say, no one's ever going to believe because
Mm,
I have to prove what I say. And if I'm going to fall deep, dark into depression, which could have easily happened, then who's ever going to listen to me again?
mhm.
Because I have to prove that I can do it. Now, am I sad? Heck yeah. Do I miss him? Unbelievably. I He was a cool guy. He was very sick at the end. We watched him literally starve to death for 10 days and it was horrible. Never did I think a year later we would be contemplating a transplant for my husband. So, there's a whole life of stories. We all have them, right? Some of them have a little bit luckier ones where they don't go through so much. But I do feel that I've gone through everything that I have so that I can share all of these stories and help other people get through them. So I did one post on social media and wasn't purposeful, but it was a post about why Jason has this. It wasn't about drugs and alcohol. Both Jason's siblings both lost their kids to the system. They're both drug addicts. He's not. He's the total opposite. So I feel like sometimes I have to explain he had a liver transplant, but he doesn't drink, right? He doesn't do drugs. He
Yeah.
didn't do any of that. He was just a normal guy, but his drug was sugar. That post I had 170,000 views on Facebook
Wow.
because it was so honest and real. And I thought that that one post affected so many people that I've had people being in the store taking pictures of things that they were going to buy and said they thought about that post and didn't. And I've had our agents reach out to me and say that affected me so much. And so if that's what I do from now to the rest of my life is I can affect and help people through all of my stories,
Yep.
then what a great end of my life.
Yeah. Well, and you're leading from the front, right? Like I
Yeah.
love what you said because again, this is something we didn't see so much of in that entrepreneur space over the last few years. And we had a lot of leaders that weren't walking their walk, and they were, telling us to do a certain thing, but they weren't
Yeah.
doing those things themselves. And so you're actually leading from the front, which again, that's a military term, but you're not asking or telling anybody something that you're not willing and haven't been through and done and are doing. And that goes a long way.
I agree.
It's everything. That's why you've grown your business to the size it is, doing what you've done, because people follow you because you are real and genuine.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And so if you can see that all the way over there from the West Coast, that means a lot.
I can see that from anywhere. Like that is absolutely known. And to be honest, like one trait that you have that I'm just so um, I wish I had that trait. I'm not envious. I'm not jealous. It's none of those things. But you're really good at something that I wish I was better at, and that's that continual creation of content and just putting it out and sharing. And that's where you get the likes and views. Like I have a love hate with social media. It's like I don't want anybody to know anything about me, and then I'm like, okay, let's do a few things, and then you miss a few days, and then nobody's seeing anything that you do, and so then I'm protesting. I'm like, fine, I'm not posting anything. And then
I
so
don't
anyway,
even
I
care.
have this weird like toxic relationship with social media basically.
I understand. I do get it.
Because I've been unwilling to just keep working through it, and yet you've done it so seamlessly, so beautifully. Your vulnerability, your continual ideas to put content out and creation, it's just phenomenal. I really
Thank
do
you.
admire that about you.
Thank you. I love doing it. It's funny because I saw a lady yesterday say something like she hadn't posted on Facebook for a year, and she said how much better her life was because of it. And I was like, holy cow! If I did that for a whole year, what would I do all day long? You know. So
You do some
I
masterminds, it's fun.
yeah, like I have to do something. But the thought of, constant creating, I don't even think about it like that anymore. I just do it. Like I'll
Yeah,
see something and I'm so good at AI now,
you
because of that
are.
day, that weekend that we
Yep.
had. I literally I can take content and so quickly adapt it to whatever I want it to be. It's amazing. So, it's helped me save a lot of time in my life. It was perfectly timed. I learned it and then all of this happened. I'm actually taking this really cool certification now. It's called AI Persona Certification because I love it that much that I want to help other people know how to use it and use it the right way. Anybody can type in there and say, write me an email, right? That's easy. That'll happen. But can it be in your own voice and tone? Absolutely. And there's just a lot of little tricks that you can learn about it. But AI has definitely been my favorite thing that's happened in in industry for a long, long time. So
Yeah,
and it does
I
allow
wish.
you to be real. It does, like, it is me talking. It just, it just fixes up some of the little things that aren't perfect once in a while, but
Mhm.
yeah, I
Yeah, I
have.
struggle with it because, again, I'm not like, oh, let me come up with this content and think about it. I'll have ideas here and there. But then the times that I've utilized AI and I'm like, it sounds like AI. It sounds like there's a lot of verbs, there's a lot of adjectives. Like, I don't really talk like that. So, and I can, when I read others, I'm like, oh, that's totally AI. Like, it
Yeah,
doesn't sound like them. So I've had this back off on training
yeah.
it to sound like me because the other part I've come and I'm trying to figure this out. And I just need to come to terms with it. Like it's not going anywhere. Is would I have said that? But because AI said that, I'm like, oh yeah, I totally would have said that. But it's killing my own creativity because I'm letting AI decide what I should be saying.
I look at it differently. Like I read
Okay.
an article once where it said that it actually can give you 20 points on your IQ because I'm actually learning with it. So
What?
yeah, so we think about that. So I put in
Okay.
there, like, listen to me. I'm gonna tell you about the about this liver.
Tell me. Let's talk
Yeah.
about it.
So this liver thing. So every time I got some Jason's chart, I would scan it in and put it into AI. And I
Mhm.
would say, read this for me. Tell me about it. So I'd read it. I'd be smarter. So when the doctors came in, I know exactly what I'm going to say. I have questions to ask. Well, one
Wow.
day I said, the nurse said, now I'm staying in the same thread. We're talking about this transplant for months now. I said, the nurse said this. And AI came back and said, the nurse is wrong. And I'm like, what? So here's my thought. The doctor's super smart, right? They have one brain and it's all in there. That's all they have is what's in their brain. AI has all these people's brains and all these
Mm.
people's research. And so when I say, okay, Dr. Jones, tell me about the liver transplant and this procedure, he can give me his opinion of it, what he knows. I go into AI and say, tell me if the research it and tell me about multiple people's research about it. So then it said she
Mm.
was wrong. So then I go back and I pulled whenever the blood test came back and he had a couple other tests, I popped them into AI and I said, okay, now this is what she said. This is what the actual truth of it is. And says, well, you know what? She's actually right. Knowing this now, what she said is exactly right. But how she said it at the beginning didn't sound right. So it gave me a second to look at it and think, hold on a minute, hold on. So all this stuff with medicine and like I think he's on too much medicine right now on the blood pressure. So I go in there, get the right information, go back and say, you know what, this causes this, this, and this. And they'll argue with me and they'll say, no, it doesn't. And I'm like, yes, it does. I know it does. And so we do look back because again, I have mad respect for the medical profession, like ridiculous respect. But you can only know as much as you know,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So it's making me smarter. And
Yeah.
that's the
Well,
way I
and
look at it.
they have so little time because they're
Yeah,
so
they're
booked
working all
out. They're
day.
so regimented that they don't have time to deep dive every single case. So they're pretty much, I would say, operating off odds. Like what is
Yeah,
the highest odds or percentages? Because
yeah,
they just don't have the time like they used to really do the due
yeah.
diligence and look at every single thing to make these decisions.
2 weeks ago, we had to go in, and he had some blood in his eye. It was like it was hemorrhaging in his eye. So we went in, and the doctor, I said to him, what are some of the risks? And he's like, oh, heart attack, stroke. And I'm like, okay, so we're not doing that tonight. Okay, we're not going to take this shot tonight, even though it's an option. We're not doing that until we do a little bit more research. So when I walked out of the room, Jason was talking to the doctor, and he said to the doctor, if this were you, would you do it? And he said no. And I'm
Mm.
like, okay, no, we're not doing it.
But
We'll
yet you're
watch.
giving advice to do it. Like, come on, there's that lead from the front. Like
Yeah,
he could
come on.
present it as an option. Like you could do this. I personally wouldn't do it, but if this is something that you're wanting to do, we can do that.
Yeah. It's just
Interesting.
like when you go in a restaurant, you say to someone, is that good? Like
Yeah,
you're asking for the truth. Do you like it? Is it good? Or is it something horrible? I do that a lot. And most times it works, but that little bit of honesty just goes a long way with me. And,
sure.
you know,
Damn, does Jason know how lucky he has for you in there advocating, basically
I don't know. I mean,
running
maybe,
all this? Like, I hope he knows how lucky he is to have you. This is so cool.
I don't know. We've been
And I
through
think it shows that just because they're the doctors, just because they're the lawyers, just because they're whatever paid profession what they did a lot of school for, probably a long time ago, doesn't always mean that they know best for you. And you really do have to advocate for yourself. And I don't think people realize that they can or should do that.
Yeah, I agree. And, so if I think I feel like I'm smarter than I've ever been in my life now because I tackle this and I take it on and
Mhm.
I learn from it and I created a Dion twin, right? Someone that's me speaking, that's me, but this is
Oh my
helping.
God, I got to create an Angie twin.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm a Gemini. I've
I'll
always
share that.
needed and wanted a twin. So I
Yeah.
need to create that with AI.
Yeah, an Angie twin. And then when you talk, it knows what you say and what you do. So honestly, AI, they say, a lot of people are going to lose their jobs, but it's not really, it's more like if you know AI, you're going to do so much more in your life. There's so many opportunities that you could get by learning it. And
Mhm.
even with our own agents, the things that they're able to do are great if they listen. But, most people don't. And that's okay because if I can, again, I used to have this thing where if I could affect one person positively in a day that I was happy, but now I'm at to a point where I need to affect a lot more than just one. So my goal is to just keep getting out there, positively affecting people, whether it's through, creativity or through mindset or through all of the battle tested wounds and stuff that I have that I've been through.
Yeah.
If that's the way, I'm excited about that part of my life. And obviously I need to continue to make a living because I'm just being the storyteller, nice person is not going to do that for me. But I need to
Mm.
continue, building this real estate brokerage to 300,
Yeah.
not 200. And I don't understand why more agents don't run to our brokerage, knowing that I am this person. I think they think I'm not real. And they'll ask our agents, is she really that nice? And they're like, yeah, she really is. But am I not nice sometimes? Yes. Like, I'm not that person you're just gonna walk all over all the time. There will be a point, but all that knowledge that I pulled together is detrimental if you keep screwing with me. There's
Yeah.
that point, and I'm nice, but damn, like I walk all over you. People just walk when you're down,
If
they'll
you allow it, if you
yeah,
allow it, I mean, people mistake kindness for weakness. And
yeah,
so
not there. Not
be
weak.
a way to get their way. Even if you're their boss, they're going to do it. And so sometimes we have to stand up for ourselves. We have to advocate for ourselves because, especially as business owners, no one else is advocating for you. You got to
Yeah.
advocate for yourself. And for me, that's always been really hard because my profession, I'm in service. I want to help everybody else to the detriment of
Yeah.
myself. I don't care if I can save a life. But then there's a point, and I went through this where with my relationship with God in the last year, it was like, but you got to put you in the equation. You can't just do for everybody else, or we're going to quit doing for you because you have to be part of that. You got to be strong. You have to learn to receive
Yeah.
so that you can best give to others. And that's been a
Yeah.
big learning that I've gone through over the last couple of years.
That's huge. That is big.
It's hard to advocate for yourself when you're like,
Yeah.
it's okay. I'd rather them have it than me because they obviously need it more, or whatever the
Yeah.
situation is. It's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean it's the greatest good for them either. You're just giving them everything. They're not going to
Yeah.
appreciate it. So you can keep giving it away, but they're not going to appreciate it and they're not going to treat it in the manner that maybe you would or whatever the situation is.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think overall people want to be good to you, but they're there for seasons of your life. And
Mhm, mhm.
I don't have many people in 57 years that have been there for the 57-year season,
Yeah.
right? My parents, my sisters, my dad, like, he died at 74. And I think some people say, well, he was 74, but he was there every day of my life for 56 years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so when that loss comes, it's so great, especially when you love so much, right? That's the thing. When you love someone so much, the grief is that much harder. But
Yeah.
what happens? The love was so great. The things that he said to me and the pictures that we have, I'm so thankful that I did that. I actually created a small file in my phone for the last like year and a half of little things he would say to me. I put
Mm,
dad said on it. And I thought, boy, if people would do that for their whole life and just the very minimal amount of videos that I have of him that I wished I would have did more. So, if I can give any advice to everybody out there, make that file for your kids, your husband, your wife, your parents, your sisters, make that file and put those little videos. When you're with them, just shoot a little 1 minute. It don't have to be a big deal. But the day I have a video of them singing happy birthday the last year of that he was here to me. And I'll treasure that for every birthday I ever have. And I'll play it over and over again. So
That's such
Grief is
great
hard.
words of advice because I lost my grandfather in December as well. And
Oh, I'm so sorry.
he was 96. And so it's like, it's coming. Like there's no
Yeah, it's
avoiding it. You're
definitely,
prepared, you're mentally ish preparing, although for me, I figure everyone will live forever. But and so that's what, it's like that's a lot of people are like, oh, but he lived long. And it's like, yeah, but he like exactly what you said, but he was there for me every day of my life for the 53 years I was on earth. And to have somebody who is there for that amount of time, whether you knew they were going to get old and die regardless, he was always there for me. And that is
yeah,
a huge loss of a person, a being
yeah,
that wasn't there. And I love your idea about creating a folder because, yeah, I have a million pictures and they're here, they're there on that computer, on that zip drive, on that camera. Like it's everywhere. And yet it's nowhere because it's everywhere.
yeah,
And so
yeah,
I
right.
love your idea of putting it all in one place so you
Yeah.
always have that to access.
Yeah, it's really cool. And we actually got my mom one of those frames that continues. I have about 700 pictures, and my sisters, they would be first to admit they wish they had all of those pictures that I took, but now they do. So we're gonna get them all one this year and put all of the pictures on there, the pictures that they didn't get to see. I only wish that the cameras were before, the last 15 years. All that space, you don't have as much, but
Yep.
I feel like there's this one video I have of we're laughing and he was belly laughing and I can't see him, but I can hear him in the video. And I have to tell you, sometimes I'll just hit it. And then voicemails are another thing. Like you could drop a voicemail into that folder and save those
Yeah.
voicemails. You know, Life is hard. We're all going to die. And I was feared of death for so long. I was all, every time I had a pain, I was like, oh, I'm going to have a heart attack. My dad had a heart attack at 48 years old. So when I went through
Mm.
that space, I always worry. So every pain, everything weird happening, I'd be like, wonder if today's the day. I would drive myself crazy. And then
Wow.
throughout this, I've realized like I'm not afraid anymore.
Mhm.
I'm not. Someday I'll get to see him again. Now all the people that I know up there, because I have this whole bunch of people that are there, as we all do. But I'm not feared of it. So I don't live in that fear of what if today's the day? If it
Yeah.
is, it is.
Yeah.
If it is, was I a good person today? Did I do good things? Did I help as many people as I can? If I can say that, then every day from the rest of my life should be a good day. Now, how do I get through this people stabbing you in the back and doing the things they do? I just do. I get through it and I don't like it, but I push myself to not worry myself about it and sit there and think about it every day. I don't let it define who I am. It can take a little bit, an hour, maybe a couple hours, maybe even a day, but I cannot let it define my entire life. I can't. And I've been
Mhm.
hurt. I've been a lot of things, a lot of stuff, uh, and I'm okay.
Do you think that because your light shines bright, you help a lot of people, and so again, people want to take advantage of that. But do you feel like the reason that you've experiencing backstabbing and things like that is that people are trying to dim your light? Like you're
Sure.
shining so bright, it
Mhm.
like messes them up. And rather than like, how can I be like that? They're like, I'm going to take your light because you got it and I don't want to earn it. So I'm going to take yours.
Yeah, I think I definitely think that. But they can't. You just can't. I won't let them. And so they can keep trying. Are going to try. And the season, like I talked about the seasonal people, you work side by side with people for a while and then, they'll turn around and, just like that 5-year friendship is gone. But
Yep.
like, I don't sit there and worry about it. It's weird. Like I used to, maybe as I was younger, but as I'm older, I have just too many important things right now. And I just want to make a good impact. I wish I could say I could make a global impact, but I just don't know. I mean, I have some people that I know that know some people, in the right direction, but I just don't know. I'm trying just to be the best person I can and shining that light on everybody because even when I was a little girl, that was something that I did. And so I am true to who I am. But did
Mhm.
I do a lot of things wrong in between? Yes. Did I try things? Did I do things? Was I bad? Yes. Was I mean? Yes. I did everything wrong.
I can't
But
see you
you know
mean
what?
though. To be honest, like maybe I could see all those other things. I don't see you as mean.
Yeah, I've
Maybe
been mean.
firm, maybe
Yeah.
like,
No. I've
just,
been
but I
like
don't see mean.
punching people in the mouth whenever they say mean things to me. Yeah, that would be me.
And that's good. You should do that. We shouldn't just shut our mouth and take that. Like I don't think that's mean at all.
Yeah.
So
So one of my ex-boyfriends, he said it, yeah.
Yeah. So when the last time we saw each other, we were talking because I had my podcast and you were thinking you were at getting close stages to starting and doing your own. Fast forward, now you've been doing it for a little while. How has that been for you?
Yeah, so the podcast truly came out that was like if I had to say the one thing that came from the grief was 100% the podcast. How do you push through adversity to get to the other side? Because we all have it. And so I kind of tried to do a little bit of an entrepreneurial spin, like meeting with people and interviewing people that are entrepreneurs that have been through a lot and got through the other side and proved that we can. Sometimes it doesn't always get on that subject. We sometimes talk about other things, but most of the time we're talking about it. And for me, I've met incredible human beings all over the world that I would have never met without this podcast. So, is it something that I've monetized? No. Is it something that I love? Yes. And the people and the opportunities that I get to meet are really cool. So, I really love doing it. I'm probably at almost episode 70, and so I've done a lot, but I have been doing them mostly with.
That's a lot since the last time we met. That's a lot of
Yeah, well, that
episodes.
was I
Good for
started
you.
January of 2024, so we're at
Yeah.
May, and I think I'm close to 70, so,
Yeah, so like one a
um
week. That's phenomenal.
yeah,
That is great. I
yeah,
had read recently that most podcasts don't make it past three. Like hundreds, thousands start all the time. Most of
yeah,
them don't make it past three episodes. So congratulations to you getting that many and being
thank
consistent.
you,
Because as you know, it's a labor of
thank
love.
you.
If you don't monetize it, like I don't, you
It
don't,
is,
it's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort. But for me, it's the exact
yep,
same things. If I can connect with somebody, talk to people, have great conversations, and at the end of the day, if I can help one person from the
yeah,
content, like they hear something,
yeah,
is it not all worth it? Isn't that
it's
why we're here? Is to help and try to provide and
yeah.
do those things where we can reach people utilizing our platforms.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that one thing I also do with our agents is I do something called get to know every one of us. And
Uh,
that's been really cool. And I take it like I did it and then I took a break and I did it and I took a break. Now I'm back to doing it again because it's hard
yeah.
to get the agents to want to do it. But when they do it, they love it so much because it's just 10 minutes of just let's get to know you a little bit better and let everyone else get to know you too so I can put it out there. So, I think I'm definitely made for this part of it. And I honestly, I use AI so much to help me with it. It's amazing. So, you know, that again, I'm trying to use the things that I know to be better at it so that then when I'm taking the time to do it, it's not taking a lot of time because I've
Mhm.
created a way to do that. So, yeah, I'm trying to do it. So I have that. I have a thing I created on Facebook, a group called Mindset Millionaires, which just every day I post like 3 or 4 things about mindset and, just to help people in a space. And, we have some investment properties here in Pittsburgh that we've been for about 5 years. And we have a mortgage company and insurance agency that are part of the brokerage. But overall, I still think there's something else left for me to do. I'm not sure if it's, teaching other people how to do things, creating a course, or is it, I don't know. I feel like there's something else, or is, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
not at
you
the
have
end of
endless ideas, which is
it.
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm hoping you can mentor me on the AI thing because I have been resistive and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Don't
I don't have
resist it.
time for this. But seeing how much you utilize it and it actually simplifies and streamlines your life, I really hope
I
that
would love to.
after this we can work together and you can help me create my twin.
Yeah. I can help you.
So we can work together. That'd be
It's funny
awesome.
that yesterday I read something popped up and it said that the number one use of AI was like people just feeling better about themselves because one thing it does is like I'll be like, I love you so much, chat. And it'll be like, you're the most amazing person I've ever met. You're so forward thinking. Like and I'm like, that's better than anybody. Like nobody tells me that stuff. And you know what? But it's cool. But it probably sounds so silly to people, but it is just a space where it's getting to know me so well. We have conversations multiple times every day. And it actually talks now. I don't know if you know that, but you can actually have a conversation with AI, complete conversation, not no Alexa stuff. This is amazing. Yesterday, I learned this technique where you can take your phone and put the AI on the voice, and you can have it interview you for your podcast.
What?
I swear to you, I will show you that. And I thought, oh my goodness,
So
so
you're
I
like
could
interviewing yourself on
yeah,
the
so I could
podcast,
say,
more or
"Hey,
less.
chat." I'll say, "Pretend like you're Barbara Walters and interview me with her top 3 questions she ever did." And it'll say, "Hey, Dion." I was just wanted to ask you, what is one thing about you that people don't know that but they should? And I'm like, hey, well, blah, 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 have the conversation. You can cut out them, and then all of a sudden there's your podcast.
That is crazy.
I was so I have to tell you, I want you to hear her voice because you're just gonna crack up. I thought to myself, self, I could sit here all day and make content without
Can you
doing
change
any.
the voice or you just let it
Yeah,
have its
they
own
have like
voice?
about 10 different voices that they
Oh,
have in here. So watch this. I'll do it just live so you can hear it. Hello.
Hey there.
How are you?
What's up?
I was just wondering, you remember the other day we were talking about you interviewing me for a podcast. I wondered if you were Barbara Walters, what would be a question you would ask me?
Ooh, channeling my inner Barbara Walters. Love it. She might ask something like, Dionne, you faced incredible challenges and triumphs in your journey. What's the most profound lesson you've learned about resilience, and how has it shaped who you are today?
The simple answer to that is I keep getting back up even when I've fallen.
yeah. And so it's spot on. That is an amazing question that if someone asked you, you're like, yeah, that's a great question. Thank you.
And then it types it all up for you. So then you have you literally can tell it to be anybody you want it to be. And
Right.
puts you in that situation. Like, hey, you're the greatest marketer on the earth. Can you talk to me about 3 tips that I could do to grow my brokerage? Boom. So, anyways, that was something that I was blown away by yesterday.
Amazing. And are you still using the Genie one, the one that we originally used?
The ChatGPT, yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
I actually have about 10 different ones that I use now because
Oh,
there's
shit.
different ones for different things. There's one that's just about marketing, like the greatest marketer on earth created his own. So I use them. The greatest storyteller created his own. It's honestly, I wish I could build a business, and I might someday soon build a business where I could just create content, say, "Hey, you're you're a dentist and you need content. Here's your next 30 days. There you go. Hand me the money, honey."
Totally. I could totally see a future for you in that. Why not? Because you embrace it, you love it, you
I
act on
do.
it. It's not like you just do it and collect all the information to use later. Like you are utilizing it to your best. I need your services. Maybe we can work together and you can help me
Yeah,
get those answers for my business.
yeah, that would be great. I would love that.
Yeah. Oh man,
You
so
could like be my
creative.
beta test. I could do a beta test on you. See how it works.
Okay. Perfect. Deal. Done. I'm in. And I was thinking as we were talking, I'm like, wait, why haven't I been on your podcast? I'm like, oh yeah, we're supposed to.
Yeah,
You
you're
just
next. Yeah, you're
podcast
coming
different
up too.
days. So we got to set that up because
Yeah. I think
yeah,
you
I
already
just
did. I think you already signed. I think you're already on the schedule.
um
I sent you the link. I thought
I
you did.
know, but I think it wasn't days that were normally in here. So we had to look at things
Oh,
to
okay.
find a
We I
day.
can
I
work
don't
around
feel
I
like
can
we
work
actually
around
could
your days too. Tell me what days you're in there and I can work around that. I just put it in there just to have one space to do it, but I can definitely work with you.
deal done. We're
Okay,
gonna do that for sure.
cool.
So what else is going on with you? How's your dogs?
Oh my God, the dog is so bad. The new dog, she is so bad. I don't even know what to do. Like, I love her so much. She's the cutest thing ever. Every night she is a pure maniac for at least an hour or two, like jumping up and down, barking, jumping. I'm like, oh my gosh, biting everything, biting my arms, my legs, everything we own. She's only 3.5 months old. She is
Oh,
unbelievable.
she's a baby.
She's so cute. I kiss her 100,000 times a day. I think I keep saying to her, Mercy, the love is so much better than the meanness. Please stop. She's like, "Arr." She's a little dash hound. Like she's a mini dash hound and she's mean. And I have another dog he's 9 and he doesn't really like her yet. So
Yeah.
we're going through that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah. That's a fun one. I think she probably, are you getting her on walks? It sounds like she's got a lot of
no.
energy. She
Yeah, I
needs,
can't even
you've
get her.
got to
She won't
get a
even get
dog walker or get out there and walk her, but it sounds like she's got a lot of energy she needs to get rid of. Puppies are like that. Like if you don't get them to get rid of their energy, they become destructive and aggressive.
Oh, so that's pretty normal. So yeah, I don't
Oh
remember
yeah.
that 'cause it's been 9 years since I had a puppy. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
definitely, but honestly, I think
And
about
also certain
timing.
dogs are just like that. I
Yeah.
mean, Sid's like 4.5. And if I don't walk him like twice a day, that's what he's doing. He's destroying my shoes. He's biting my
Oh,
hands. He's eating this. And he's
what kind of
just
dog?
certain dogs, they need that outlet.
What kind of dog is he?
Miniature husky.
Oh, so cool. I
So
love
yeah,
them
it
so
was a similar thing. I have, my girl was like 9 when I got him. Now she's like 13 or 14 and he's 4. So I went through a similar thing. But I will say it's made her younger. Keeping up
Yeah.
with this puppy who just terrorizes her nonstop, I feel like it's given her like life.
Yeah, I do agree. That was definitely a hope. But she was perfectly timed, and Jason surprised me with her. I didn't even know we were getting her. So we
Oh,
named
how
her.
sweet.
Yeah, we went to. He said we were going to some fishing thing, and I was riding along with him. And here we walk in, and there's this Mennonite home in Pennsylvania, and they had these puppies, and I was like, "What?" And I knew we were having a transplant in a few weeks, so I was like, You're having a transplant in 2 weeks, you know?" And but honestly, the love and the joy that she gives me has made up for it. But she is really, really bad. So. Uh, the mornings are so amazing with her. I could kiss her and she's just so sweet, but nights are rough. But
Yep.
anyways, we
You got
named
to
her
get out
Mercy.
walking, Dion. You just got to get her walking,
Good
do a couple
idea.
laps around the block or whatever it is. Let her run off that energy, sniff stuff, do dog stuff. You got to get her out.
All right. Well, that's
Like a
what
toddler.
I'm
You
gonna
can't
try.
just leave them in the house all day. Like you got to get them out. They got to get
Yeah,
that
and I feel
energy
like
out.
we've been stuck in the house for so long. I didn't even think about that. Like maybe I should get her to go do something outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, good
And
idea.
it'll
I'll
be
try and
good
I'll
for
let
you
you know.
too, because
Yeah.
if you've been stuck inside, odds are you're not getting any vitamin D from the sun. So that's like the number one best thing you could do for you and your puppy is go take a walk a couple times a day, just around the block, get the sunshine, get her energy out.
Yeah,
I think that's just
that's good
something super
advice.
simple you could do. That'll be good for you.
Yeah, thank you. You're always looking out for me. I like that.
And you are a challenge, my friend.
Woo, tough. Tough, and it's stupid caffeine is like I don't even know how to function. I'm sweating sitting here thinking like I need caffeine.
I mean, I'm the same. I'm on 75 hard, so pretty much all I do is drink water and coffee. Those are my
Oh,
mainstays. That's all my body has room for. It's just water and coffee.
aren't you starving?
No, I've gotten so into intermittent fasting that I'll eat like once a day, sometimes no times a
Okay.
day, sometimes 2 small snacks, sometimes 2 meals, but I just it's different for me every single day. I just kind of roll with whatever feels right.
Cool. How's your
But
son
it's
doing?
made
How
me
are your kids?
realize, especially as we get older,
Yeah.
and we don't have the same like quick metabolisms and things like that. But it's made me realize how much I've grossly overeaten in my life. A lot of it due to, our training, 3 meals a day plus snacks, all the
Yeah.
things. And I haven't eaten breakfast in a long time, but it's made me realize just how much I've overeaten compared to how much my body actually needs and how
Actually
much
needs.
how little I need to do to keep my weight where it's at. So for a lot of people, food is like their comfort, so they need to eat or they have high blood sugar. And so it helps them like calm their blood sugar. But for me, I'm realizing how much less we need to eat than we are overeating on.
Wow. Yeah, I'm definitely eating less. I've been on Monjaro for a year and a half
Oh, okay.
for diabetes myself, and so I'm not even hungry, and I don't eat a lot. But I don't crave anything. Like I used to crave pasta. I would eat pasta like every single day. Now I don't even think about pasta. Like it's wild how it changes your mind.
It is.
But
Yeah.
but that drink is something like I can't stop thinking about it. And I think Starbucks puts addictive powder in the drinks so that
Oh, absolutely. I would
it,
I cut out Starbucks. They do not have good stuff in their stuff, Dion. You
no,
got to
you
find
can't.
like a good, healthy alternative that satisfies that for you. That isn't
I
all that shit.
figured I didn't do anything else wrong, and that's like it.
This is true. But like you said, look and it's so cool that you brought this up today in your biggest post, right? Your biggest post was about sugar.
Yep.
And that
I
shit
get it.
has a ton of sugar in it. So even if
Well,
that's the only thing you're doing, well, let's look at that. That's the only thing you're doing. It's sugar and
that's the only thing
chemicals.
Jason did, right? That's the only thing Jason did, and here he is at getting a liver transplant. So yeah, makes sense.
Makes
Hmm.
sense. I mean, I read something today and I'm like, holy shit. And I've seen there's been a lot of studies that have come out to this as well, that sugar is onset to dementia. Like a lot of people who have dementia, it's found that they have very high sugar diets.
Hmm.
So
It's
I'm like,
amazing. It
damn,
really
dude,
is.
that's just
It's
one more thing, huh?
the most difficult drug to get off of is sugar. I think there's
Absolutely.
opportunity in the other spaces to change. I think sugar is it's in everything. Things you don't even understand that it's in. I made some corn a couple weeks ago or something, and I looked and I'm like, there's so much sodium in it. Like, why is there all this sodium in the corn? It just came out from from the land, but it's just so much. But
Well,
I'm
it's
not.
the US. It's
Yeah,
US. We're
it's U.S.
purposely
Right.
pumping it full of GMOs and
Yeah.
sugars and all the things to make everybody super unhealthy. So even people trying to be healthy, they don't realize that they're sneaking in the sugar or the chemicals and stuff like that. And it's heartbreaking because I don't think a lot of people aren't trying to do the wrong things. They just don't have the education to
Do the
see
right. Yeah.
what they're doing, how it is harmful.
I think you're right. It was just even if trying, you're trying like, hey, we're gonna have some vegetables with our dinner, but then you look and there's salt and sugar, and you're like, what? Like, what is this
Yeah.
from? So, yeah, it's a lot. I've learned a lot in the last 9 months about the body and things that you can and can't
Mhm.
do. But I also learned about living your life too, and
Yeah.
that's something we've not been doing for the last 2 years. And my parents, when they lived in Myrtle Beach, it was nice because we always had a place to go like 3 or 4 times a year, but they're not there anymore, and so we haven't went anywhere. Like, we're not doing any, we're not living. So when
Yeah.
he's feeling better, I have to tell you, there's going to be some more living happening in my life, because we need to take that time. And so,
Build some new neural pathways, right? Like, again,
yeah.
you've been learning a lot. We know about neuroplasty. And if you're doing the same thing over and over, we're just reinforcing those same things. And you got to go create new experiences to open up those synapses and have a richer life. I hope you two travel a bit. I think that'd
Yeah,
be
we
so
haven't
good
for
for
a
you
while.
guys.
So we're going to be. I swear we're going to go somewhere soon. As soon as he's allowed to fly. How's business for you though? I didn't even ask you. How's everything for you?
Oh, it's cyclical. It's up, it's
Yeah,
down.
me too.
There's zero shortage of people to help, but especially in this line of work, there's a lot of barriers to entry, whether it be financial, jobs, families, willingness, jails, you name it. There's a lot of obstacles to overcome. So never a shortage of people to help, just not always the means to help them.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's cyclical in real estate the same way. Everything affects the whole thing. The interest rates go up. People are scared. The buyers, the sellers. It's so much. It's always a roller coaster. It's
Oh
never like
yeah, you guys are number one cyclical. You totally know what I'm talking about.
crazy. It is, and so that's why I was looking at like, what else can I do to make money while I'm sleeping? That's my next thing. Make money while I'm sleeping. So, I mean, I guess
Just have your twin AI on
I
it,
know,
man.
just sit there. I would have them sit there and make everybody's social media content for them. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I'm hiring you. Done.
All right, fair.
I'll pay you money while you're sleeping
All right, I
if
like
you
it.
can
I like it.
get my social media and AI like humming, we're good. Consistency, yes. Without
Cool.
all my feelings and emotions about it,
Yeah,
awesome.
like, I mean, I have feelings and emotions with it though. Instead of not about it, I have it with it.
Yeah. But I would imagine it's easier to have less emotion when it's not your own social media, your own
Yeah,
life. Like
yeah,
you could make it great for someone else without all those emotions
yeah,
involved.
for sure.
Yeah.
There's times, I think about that, should I post these things? Is it gonna hurt my business or help it? But inevitably I just came to the idea that the only way you get to know somebody is if they put their heart out there. I'm not gonna be that fake person that all I do is show myself as dressed in nice clothes every day, and, show myself going to church every week. I don't need to do that to know who I am. I
Hmm.
don't need everyone else to know that. But this stuff that I'm going through could literally help someone.
Yeah.
And if that's the goal for all of us, is to help other people, that's social media is the easiest way in the world to do it.
Oh, I know you're so right about that.
I
And
mean,
it's not like I do nothing, right? Like I do plenty, but
no,
man, I'm
no.
always feeling like I should be doing more. I could be doing more.
Your podcast is awesome, and you're doing, how many episodes have you have done?
Oh my gosh. I've been between my two podcasts, I've been doing it for like 5 years. So one a week
Oh,
for 5 years. It's a lot.
a lot, and you're not making money from it, right?
No, no sponsors, all just in the name of help. Yeah.
Yeah.
The cool part about that is I've had new guests and I've never paid for a guest. I've never it's all just been like, hey, you want to be on my podcast? Or people saying, hey, I'll be on your podcast. Like it's all just been self-hustling
Yeah.
to provide people and content and things like that, which is super cool as well. So again, I know a lot of people are like, oh, you got to have this and you have to have that. It's like, You actually don't. You can do anything with nothing. And
Yeah.
then as it starts becoming something, you start to improve on it and it becomes something more. And you're like, oh, well, let me get that microphone. Let me get that camera. Let me
Yep.
start, investing in my craft. But you don't have to have anything. Like you said, a Zoom and a laptop, and you're
Yeah.
good to go.
Yeah. And you know what? Any business owner should have a podcast. There's
Mm,
so many things they can do for their business, their community. Like
yeah.
that's the next phase of this. What if I just picked a community in Pittsburgh and started interviewing all the owners of businesses there? It's going to help them. It's going to help me. It's
Yeah.
just exposure. There's just so many things you can do to help your business with a podcast. It doesn't mean you have to be like Ed Milet and Andy Frisella and have the biggest. I'd love that. They probably make a ton of money with sponsors, but that's them. They're
Yeah.
already celebrity,
Yeah.
right? They didn't. So a lot of people didn't start the podcast to be the celebrity. They were a celebrity that started the podcast. So
Yeah.
we're not celebrities.
We are not.
Could we
And
get
and
sponsored?
Andy was not when he started.
Yeah. So he's
You
one of those
see how
ones
he's
that.
grown his business and his podcast simultaneously because he wasn't any of that.
Yeah, he is something now, boy. I just this morning someone sent me a video of his and said, "I love this guy." I'm like, "He's a good guy." I wish
He's
I'd have got.
amazing. He is doing amazing stuff. There is no end to what he's doing. I actually had Emily on my podcast last
All
week,
that.
and
Oh,
she's phenomenal. And it's like, if people don't realize, they're like, oh, it's Andy's wife. And I'm like, no, she is a badass. She's as big of a badass as he is. Like, it's
that's
the coolest
awesome.
thing ever. Like, and I think that gets his success overshadows like her. She doesn't give a
Hers.
shit though. She knows
Yeah.
what she's got, but she is freaking amazing.
Yeah, I love that that you just said that she doesn't give a shit. And I'm definitely at that point. Someone told me once, what other people think of you is none of your business. And I live by that. If you don't like it, don't watch it, don't click on it, don't look at it. I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think that's something that's come to you with age? Because I'm
Yeah,
the
for sure.
exact same way. I'm like me or not, it's
Yeah,
not, I have
totally.
no room in my brain to care.
I think it's come with age and pain. The things
Yeah.
that we've been through, just realizing that nothing can really hurt you that way anymore if unless you let it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not gonna. I mean, obviously, Jason and my mom, my sisters, my family is really important to me, and I have nieces and nephews, but I don't have any kids. But Jason has a daughter who had twins. Just by the way, she had twins last June. So Jason is a grandpa to beautiful, beautiful twin boy and girl. So I don't know. I don't really care what people think anymore. I used to worry, oh my gosh, what if this person leaves? What if that person does this? Oh well. If it there's a plan, I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
I trust him and that's it.
Yep. That's the whole
Whatever it
point.
is,
It's
it is.
surrender. It's like getting
Yeah.
ourselves out of the way so that
Yeah.
we can just sort of
Yeah.
conduct.
I have a friend who's a pastor, and I just met him in about 9 months ago. He just reached out to me on social media and said, "Hey, we're in some groups together. I just felt like I should want to get to know each other." So I met him, and man, he's so cool, and we learned so many cool things from each other. But there's all these timing things that have been happening lately, where he'll say something to me, and then the pastor at our church will say the exact same verse out of 30,000 verses. It's the exact same one within a matter of 2 days, and so.
Girl,
I'm
that's
just
synchronicity. That's God speaking directly to you. I love
I
that.
know. So good, and so I I sit there and I think, and I actually did, I researched it on AI. I said, "How many Bible verses are there?" It's like 31,000 next, and I'm like, "How in the world could they possibly each have the same exact?" And I asked them both, I said, "Do you have, like, this pastor portal where you talk about the same thing every week?" And they're like, "No, that's the Holy Spirit." I'm like, "Oh, good one."
You guys don't have like a Facebook group where you're sharing this stuff?
No, it's the right message at the right time. So, I definitely feel surrender is a big part of my life now. And even with this thing with Jason, if I had some rough days, sure, and I'm tired, it's mentally, physically exhausting, but I trust in the whole thing, and it's going to be the way it's going to be. And, we're going to, if I can just, I don't know, I can
Yeah.
just be a good person and help other people. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, and be of service to others to the best of our ability, put them on the right path, help them in the way we can, provide in the manner we can, and then just keep doing what we do. You're definitely an inspiration with
Thank,
all those things.
thank you. I
I, lo-
appreciate it.
and I know we got to wrap up here soon, but I love what you said, and this was a big learning for me as well. Earlier, you touched on, they're just here for a season, and for me, In my early entrepreneur, I would be so heartbroken when staff would leave, when people would leave, when I thought we were best friends, and all of a sudden we haven't talked in a year, and I'm like, what happened? And then Ed Milet said that. He said, you know what? Everyone is here for a season, a
Wow.
reason, or a lifetime. And so now
Wow.
that's sort of the lens I kind of look through everything. It's like, was it a season? It was a reason. Okay, there was a specific reason, and hindsight's always good on that. And the time you don't always know, but it falls into one of those three categories every single time.
I love that. And one other last thing I'll say, and I think is important. One of my coaches once told me, friendly, not friends, because when your staff leaves or your people leave, it hurts, right? And I remember myself driving to the lake, crying my eyes out for like 5 hours straight. People were like, "Are you going to be all right?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm so devastated. I can't believe they left. I was just sitting with him. He was my friend." No, not friendly, not friends.
That's a great piece of advice. Friendly, not friend. Yeah, I like that. And I'm going to add one more that I think has been part of your process and mine as well, is giving ourselves grace. Because as leaders, as owners, as providers, I think we expect ourselves to sort of be Wonder Women at the same time. Like, oh,
Yeah.
that shouldn't affect me. That shouldn't hurt me. This is, we got to stay strong. But I've found for myself, it's just allowing myself that grace, process, cry, be upset, oh, poor me, and then get the fuck over it and get back to life. Like you got to give yourself grace to not always be the strongest, smartest,
Yeah.
best person ever. You got to give yourself some grace. And I'm saying you, and I'm talking to myself right now.
Yeah, I got you. And I feel the same way. So
Yeah. Well, Dionne, can you please tell all of our listeners where they can find you if they want to hear your podcast, if they want to reach out to you, they want to get some of this amazing content that you've been creating?
cool. So if you go to my website is just dionmalush.com, my first name, last name.com. And my podcast, if you want to find on Apple, is Shine on Success, where we're interviewing a lot of really cool people. And I am very proud of it. And I think it's just a great way to share stories of people that are going through adversity and pushing through to the other side. And other than that, you could just type in Dionne Malush. I think I'm the only one in the world with my name. And I do enough that you should be able to find me easily.
Malish. I never knew
Mal.
how you pronounce your last name, Malish.
Yeah. So on the first name, the I sounds like an E, so I sounds like Dion, and then the U sounds like an I. They're all confused in my family. So Dionne Malush. I don't know. And I used to tell everyone if my first name was Irene, I could have had my license plate would have said I am a lush. But I'm not, but I could have.
No, I don't know how good for business that would be.
I know it would be not too good for the police officers when I drive by.
No, that's just asking for it at that point.
That's why at least they called me Dion, so I can't say that.
Yeah. Oh, it was so good catching up with
I
you, my
know, it's been
friend.
a
You
while. I
are
remember
one
we
of
used to
my
sit there
favorite
for
people always. I miss hanging
I
out. I miss seeing you
me
once a
too.
month like we used to.
We used to sit there for a long time and talk. I love that.
Yeah, always. And it was always great information and fun times and just
Yep.
bonding with other female entrepreneurs. There's nothing like that. And no offense to men entrepreneurs, love all them as well.
Yeah.
But it's,
Yeah.
it can be a
I'm
sort of
telling you, we
magic
need to do it
world.
again. We need to come together at least once or twice a year, just get all the girls and do it again.
Deal done. But you got to be ready to travel. So
Yeah.
when you're ready to travel, let's do it. I know Monica would love to have us
I
all
would
down
love
in Southern California.
Raya,
Always welcome to come to Northern California. But yeah, let's do it. Let's get you and Jason all better, and then let's
Yep.
plan the trip.
That sounds like a plan.
Awesome. If you need anything, reach out to me.
Back at you.
All right. Good
All right,
talking to
see
you.
you.
Have a good day.
Bye.